All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible things about life itself, the body's command and control systems. We're going to unpack how every living thing, from you and me to the plants out in the yard, manages to react to the world with such jaw-dropping precision. Seriously, think about that for a second. How is that even possible? You react before your brain even gets the memo that there's pain. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's actually an amazing biological shortcut, a high-speed network that completely bypasses your conscious thought. And that is the perfect place for us to start. You know, when you really boil it down, every action you see in the living world, a cat pouncing on a toy, a flower turning to face the sun, you snatching your hand away from a hot stove, it's all a response. It's a carefully controlled reaction to some kind of change, some stimulus from the world around us. And this simple little loop, detect, process, react. This is the fundamental problem that evolution has been working on for millions and millions of years. How do you build a system that can do all of this and do it in the blink of an eye? Well, the first answer evolution came up with was basically a biological superhighway. For animals, the first and fastest solution is the nervous system. You can think of it as a living biological fiber optic network. It's built for one thing: incredibly fast point-to-point communication. This is the express lane for when speed is absolutely everything. And the building block for this entire network is this amazing little thing, the neuron. It's a super specialized cell with pretty much just one job: act like a living wire, carrying messages as tiny little zaps of electricity from one part of the body to another. So, how does this journey actually work? Well, let's follow the signal. First, a receptor, say in your skin, detects a stimulus. That kicks off an electrical impulse. That impulse then zips down the length of the neuron until it hits a teeny tiny gap called the synapse. There, it releases a puff of chemicals that jump across that gap and trigger the very next cell in line, which in this case would be a muscle. And this right here, this is that final critical handoff, the neuromuscular junction. It's the exact point where that electrical command from the nerve arrives and tells the muscle fiber what to do. The order is simple: contract, move, now. But here's the catch, and it is a big one. Our conscious thought, as powerful as it is, well, it's slow. If your brain had to consciously think, that's hot. This is probably causing damage. I should maybe move my hand. You'd be seriously burned before you even got halfway through the thought. And this is the body's absolutely ingenious solution, the reflex arc. It is an emergency bypass. The signal from your burning hand travels to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord immediately sends a command straight back to your arm muscle to pull away. The brain is literally cut out of the loop. It finds out what happened after the fact. That's how you react before you even consciously feel the pain. So cool. Okay, so that handles split-second emergencies. But what about situations that aren't just about one muscle twitching? What if you need to get your entire body ready for a long, sustained challenge? For that, you need a totally different kind of messaging system. And this really lays out the difference perfectly. The nervous system is like sending a direct text message. It's electrical, it's super fast, and it goes to one specific person. The hormonal system, on the other hand, is way more like sending out a company-wide email or a memo. It's a slower, chemical signal that goes out to everyone, coordinating a huge, widespread, and much longer-lasting response. The absolute classic example here is the fight or flight response, right? If you're suddenly faced with a threat, you don't just need one muscle to move. No way. You need your heart to start pounding, your breathing to get deeper. You need blood to be sent to your big muscles. You need a body-wide state of high alert. And that system-wide alert is sent out by the endocrine system. It's this whole network of glands that produce these chemical messengers we call hormones, like adrenaline, and they just dump them straight into the bloodstream. And the blood, it's the ultimate delivery service, carrying that broadcast message to literally every single cell in your body. And this system isn't just for emergencies. I mean, look at these examples. You've got adrenaline for that fight or flight readiness, sure, but then there's insulin from your pancreas, managing your energy levels after every meal, and growth hormone, orchestrating your entire development from a kid into an adult. These are the powerful, long-term managers of your entire life. Okay, so animals have nerves for speed and hormones for widespread control. That makes sense. But what about things that have neither? And this brings us to a really fascinating puzzle. How in the world do plants coordinate anything at all?
I mean, we usually think of plants as just sitting there, right? They're passive, but they're constantly responding to stuff, light, touch, gravity. So if they don't have any nerves to send fast signals and no muscles to actually move, how on earth are they doing it? Well, take a look at this. This is a sensitive plant, mimosa. On the left, its leaves are all open. On the right, just a few moments after being touched, they've snapped completely shut. This is undeniable, awesome proof that plants can move quickly and that they've evolved their own very clever ways to make it happen. So it turns out plants have two main strategies for movement. That fast reaction we just saw with the mimosa plant, that's not actually growth. It's a really smart hydraulic system where cells just rapidly change their shape by pumping water in or out. Their slower, more common movements, though, that's different. That's actually the result of controlled, directional growth.
And a perfect example of that slow movement is phototropism, how a plant bends towards light. It's all controlled by a plant hormone called auxin. So when light hits one side of a plant stem, auxin builds up on the shady side. This hormone then tells the cells on that dark side to get longer, and as they elongate, they physically push the whole stem over towards the light. It's slow for sure, but it is an incredibly elegant and effective solution. So we've got these lightning-fast electrical signals, we've got widespread chemical broadcasts in animals, and we've got these slow, hormone-driven growth movements in plants. Let's kind of pull back now and see how all these different strategies are really pointing to the exact same fundamental goal. In complex animals like us, it's pretty obvious why we need both systems. You absolutely need the incredible speed of electrical impulses for those urgent, targeted actions like a reflex. But you also need the broad, sweeping reach of chemical hormones to coordinate really complex, body-wide changes over time, like growth or getting ready for a marathon. One is like a surgeon's scalpel, the other is like a painter's brush. You really need both to create the masterpiece that is a living body.
And that's really the bottom line here. It doesn't matter if it's an instantaneous nerve impulse pulling your hand from a fire or a plant slowly bending toward the sun over several days. These amazing systems of control and coordination are the essential tools that allow every living thing to sense its environment and respond to it. And really, that's the very definition of being alive. This incredible, intricate dance of electrical and chemical signals is running our lives every single second of every day. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What happens when these absolutely vital communication lines get damaged or the wiring just gets crossed? It's a pretty powerful reminder of just how delicate and how essential this whole system of control really is. Thanks for exploring it with me.